What did you think of Sacha Baron Cohen's latest show that mocks Republicans and the NRA?
Well, I'm glad you asked this question because I hate this guy. And I think he's talented. I think he's funny. I think he stinks. I think when you take, the thing is, this is what I call the tyranny of cool. Mm-hmm. If somebody is cool, and Cohen is cool, he's outrageous and he's funny and he's all those things. If somebody's
got all the right friends. He's in the Hollywood in crowd.
Absolutely. You start to think, well, there must be something good about him. But that's not true. People can be cool and really be jerks. And it is a jerky, stinky thing to do, to go to ordinary people with the power of a Hollywood film behind you and make fun of them. But that's not what I dislike. What I dislike is he fools people who are better men than he is. He'll fool cops, he'll fool firemen, he'll fool people who serve their country. And I think it's funny, and it's witty, and it's original, and it stinks. And I don't see why we can't say those things all together. A person can be talented. It's like Eminem. I used to listen to Eminem and think, yeah, he's talented. What he's saying is disgusting. It does not, having talent, I'm not trying to be prissy or, I'm happy to see outrageous stuff. But just because you're doing outrageous stuff doesn't mean you're not doing a bad thing.
Jak się masz? Pepsi Max.
Bafflegab. B-A-F-F-L-E-Gab. Baffle-ab. Definition. Incomprehensible or pretentious language, especially bureaucratic jargon.
Welcome to another episode of Bafflegab. I'm your host, Ralph Wigglesworth, and to my side is my co-host...
Lenny Thompson, the voice of liberal reason here at Bafflegab. Your reprieve from the nattering nut jobs on the right.
Nut jobs. Nice.
That's
You're
right.
already starting very contentious. I don't know what your even angle is here.
Because
Lenny.
we have a contentious show, Ralph.
We do. We got a lot of
jam-packed.
things. Yes. So, are relations between Russia and America back to normal? I would say yes. Hands were shook. A meeting was held. Vladimir will be coming to America this fall.
Yes.
And I welcome him with open arms.
I wonder
That's
if
what
President
Trump tells me to do.
is nervous. I mean, his boss is coming to check up on him. He's
right,
getting
his friends.
annual review here,
No,
his performance review, and I don't know what Vladimir is going to say.
He's going to say, great
Have you
job.
seen Puerto Rico? Have you seen Puerto Rico? We can't even get power, months later. It's been however many months, almost a year.
Look, Lenny, I assure you that Puerto Rico or Flint, Michigan is not on Putin's concern list.
I agree with you there. But as we said, we got a jam-packed show. So we're going to first discuss Sacha Baron Cohen and his new...
makes me so mad.
His new Showtime series, Who is America? After that, what is Bernie Sanders even doing?
Who knows?
You will, listener. After that segment.
That's true.
Then we have a story on Jeff Bezos. Welcome to the resistance, sir.
And also,
job creator, thank you.
Can he save the public library?
Can Jeff Bezos save the public library?
I know you at home are saying, Ralph, what are you talking about? Well, don't worry. If you listen to this whole episode, you'll know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
And then also we have a special visit from sometimes guest Bill Morgan.
That's right. Update after the shocking conclusion to last week's episode where he went to jail.
That's right. He was arrested outside. If you remember last week's episode, we were a bit concerned about a man in African garb outside. Turns out it was just a
white man.
A white man who was in the Coming to America musical, small production that was happening around Lenny's Bushwick loft.
The studio, you mean?
Yeah, the studio. That Bafflery Network has paid for, and we applaud them and we thank them every day for letting us record.
Right. Thank you, sir.
In this warehouse.
But we will get an update on Bill Morgan's whereabouts. But we also have one more item for this show, and that's Joe Lieberman, Joe Mentum. He's back, baby. Why?
Yeah, I am asking why.
You might be wondering.
Literally forgot. His name should be, in the annals of congressional history.
Yeah. Well, a little reminder will be coming up later. But first, the man of the hour, Sacha Baron Cohen, who's inspired so much ire and outrage from the Republican Party this week.
Yeah,
Roy
it's
Moore
disgusting.
threatened to sue him.
We're
Sarah
gonna get into
Palin
this.
called him a sexist.
You fool these are some of our elites. These are our intellectual elites. Sarah Palin, Joe Walsh, Roy Moore. And for him to be making fools of these people, it's disgusting.
They're the best our society has to offer.
They are. They're some of the biggest thinkers that we have. Sarah Palin wrote a book.
Yeah.
These are smart people, and they got fooled by a man in ugly, ugly makeup. And before we get into this, we're going to introduce our segment, not reintroduce.
Reintroduce. It's a segment we've done before because, unfortunately, it's happened in the past.
Yeah, we should never even had to do this segment in the first place, but now we've had to do it twice? This is an outrage.
What is the segment?
Who's stealing our thunder now?
Oh, yeah.
So the title of Who's Stealing Our Thunder Now goes to Sacha Baron Cohen, a comedian also known as Sacha Borat Cohen, Sacha Bruno Cohen.
You may remember his trio of hit films, Ali G in the House, Borat, a something adventure, and Bruno, which was his gay Austrian character.
That's right.
Yeah. What a laugh riot those movies were, eh, Ralph?
Yes, I had a great time walking out of them.
Oh, wow. You got him.
Yeah, well, I hope he's listening because we got some strong words for him. And that is, you stole our bit.
That's right. Sacha Baron Cohen, in the first episode of his new series, Who is America, which premiered last Sunday, July 15th, 2018, he featured a segment oddly similar
Very
to Baffle
similar.
Gab's very own segment from a Baffle Gab episode.
Yes.
Episode 17.
NRA Holes.
That's right.
Was the name of that episode. Episode 17.
NRA Holes.
Please download it.
Yes.
Please download it. Listen to it. Download it, and then listen to all of it, and then re-download it. Then send it to your friends and tell them to also download it twice.
Yes. Then watch it on YouTube and refresh to the tab about 50 times. And if you all do that, together we will have cobbled maybe 500 views, and that'll really, give us the boost we need. And
it will make my wife Melissa think that what I'm doing is a little more
what authentic,
important, authentic, real. That I'm a journalist. Yes.
Yes. Well, that doesn't really protect us from the grifters and charlatans who steal our material, though. And I just want to play for the listeners a clip of our bit. Which, Ralph, it was your idea, so perhaps you would like to set us up here.
Yeah, so my suggestion was this was after all the hoopla,
All the hoopla. Go on.
All the hoopla after, that unfortunate shooting in Parkland in Florida.
A gun just went off by its own volition. Shot some kids. It was a tragedy.
Crazy, insane, incel, I believe.
Incel in the main brain. That's right.
Yeah, was able to use his money freely to purchase a gun. That is his right. And then he took it, and then he signed a contract while there that said, I will only use this at, for hunting purposes. And yet he disobeyed that. Much how... like a hippie going into a headshot saying, I promise for tobacco use only. That's how this man misused a gun. And so
Sir, I only smoke tobacco in this 4-foot water bong. I assure you. I need it. My lungs are very sensitive.
Well, it's just another lie has led to abuse of a tool. And that's what happened here. And so, anyway, there was a whole debate. If you remember, David Hogg and his friend
of course.
Were making a lot of headlines at the time.
They were going hog wild.
Yes, that's right. And they were on every show saying, we got to ban guns, we got to ban guns, we got to ban guns. And I got to thinking, I said, it's not the guns, right? It's not the guns' fault. What it is not enough guns. And so what I started saying was, everyone's like, oh, we got to make schools gun-free zones. Schools we already had gun-free zones at schools where this violence kept happening. What about free gun zones? You go in there, and as you'll hear in the clip, I explain the details of this plan. But basically, everyone was like, oh, we got to have armed guards. We got to train the teachers. There's one teacher. There's 30 students in a classroom. Give the students guns.
That's right.
Train those 30 students to use guns. Apparently, Sacha Baron Cohen heard this idea, liked it, and got a lot of politicians on board. And then people laughed. I don't understand.
But nobody laughs at our show because we're not a comedy show.
Well, A, no one's listening. B, if they were listening, they would not be laughing because this
Because why would they be laughing? We're not making jokes here. Are you serious? Satire is dead. But let's play.
This is commentary and journalism.
That's right.
Which journalism is also dead. Satire's dead. Journalism's dead. Commentary still alive and well. That's the torch we're carrying.
That's not going anywhere, baby. So let's listen to our clip briefly, since Ralph already gave away the punchline to the story. I won't say joke because, again, not comedy podcast. And here it is.
You want to get to a real solution? Lenny, we need to talk about a real solution.
All right, let's talk.
A real solution. We have gun-free zones.
Yes.
In our schools. Our schools should be free gun zones. When you come in there should be a box of pistols where you pick one up and everyone has a gun on them at all times.
It's like a trapper keeper.
Yes, it's like a trap. Are we giving out free trapper keepers?
I don't know. It's
be.
your socialist fantasy, Ralph.
We should not be giving out free trapper keepers. That is an item that is that's not a necessity.
Who's gonna pay for all these?
A trapper keeper is a
My name, Colonel Eran Morad. I am the terrorist terminator. In America, there is big problem of shootings in schools. The NRA want to arm the teachers. This is crazy. They should be arming the children.
A 3-year-old cannot defend itself from an assault rifle by throwing a Hello Kitty pencil case at it. Our founding fathers did not put an age limit on the Second Amendment.
Maybe having young people trained and understand how to defend themselves in their school might actually make us safer here.
Wow.
There you have it, folks. I mean, it's just what bothers me is that we don't have the resources to go to Congress and pitch our great ideas to them.
Yeah.
Our only hope is that they download our podcast and listen to it and hear our great ideas, and that we influence Congress that way. What I want to be is kind of like the Fox and Friends to Congress.
We're the little guy.
Yeah, we're a little guy trying to speak encouragement to power.
We're Davy. Sacha Baron Cohen is Goliath.
Yes.
We're the little dog. Sacha Baron Cohen is the boy who's friends with the dog in the Christian claymation show. That name escapes me right now. Anyway,
Davy and
just
Goliath.
think it's Davy and Goliath. That's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was right there in the name.
Yeah. He's taking our little clay arms and stretching them around our backs and making us punch ourselves in the face and saying, "Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself?" We're hitting ourselves with good ideas. We're throwing good ideas out there. You're taking them, wearing an ugly mask. Do yourself a favor. Google Sacha Baron Cohen and look at, look at these gross masks that he's always wearing. And we're not getting any credit. If you're going to steal our ideas, at least give us credit. Say, like, I am guy from Israel, and the podcast gave me great idea to take to Congress.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it was intended seriously. It wasn't proposed expecting those people to actually...
He gave them an award for a lot of them. He came and he gave them an award for Israeli Defense Award.
That's right. But let's be honest. They were basically reading off a teleprompter, and... that just goes to show how insufficient these people are as politicians and as, public speakers. They would just
I don't understand.
be so incredulous to read this
Lenny, do you not
nonsense.
do you not think that this is a good idea?
No, I don't.
What?
Look, okay, here's the thing.
We talked about this on the show, and I distinctly remember that segment ending with you saying, "Oh, I see your point now. I agree," and we shook hands.
No, that's definitely not what happened.
That's what I remember happening.
No.
I pitched a good idea. You said, "Oh, I have no answers other than ban all guns," which is a weak, pathetic MSNBC,
all right.
Rachel Maddow answer.
Okay, Mr. O'Reilly protege over here. Now,
Bless his soul.
He's not dead.
He's
Look.
just recording a podcast in a small bedroom, which might as well be dead.
Right. No relation. So look, Sacha Baron Cohen, I used to find his comedic antics funny. Back when I was a young, naive boy in college.
Your brain had not fully developed.
I saw Borat in theaters, okay? I saw Bruno, wasn't a big fan. Ali G into House is by far the worst Sacha Baron Cohen movie of that era that he put out.
Do not forget Great Dictator.
Oh, yeah. The Dictator one is also pretty bad. But Vox.com actually had a great article this week from author Aja Romano that sums up my personal feelings about Mr. Cohen's latest antics, with this show, Who is America? Now, let me read you just a little bit from this Vox.com article titled, Sacha Baron Cohen's Political Provocations Are Exhausting and dangerous. Okay.
Just wait till you're going to read to me.
Yes.
Lenny, you could not be any more of a condescending liberal.
Yeah.
That you're going to sit here and read an article to me.
Well, I just feel like the author's views reflect my views, pretty well, and why mess with something that doesn't? Why fix something that doesn't need fixed?
This is where we
this
got to,
article
folks.
Stands as a
Lenny just reads an article on
argument
Facebook
against comedy.
Then let's hear it.
All right. Sacha Baron Cohen has always trafficked in fake reality. So you might think that his new Showtime comedy series, Who is America, would be perfect for skewering the interplaying phenomena of actual fake news and actual real news that gets labeled as fake. But we no longer live in the culture that spawned Sacha Baron Cohen's 2006 prankster hit Borat. In an upended world where reality pretty much fakes itself, and where social media feeds an endlessly provocative outrage cycle, Baron Cohen's game may be getting old. Fast.
Well, I kind of agree with you, and I think that maybe what has changed, right? So it's 2006.
A lot has changed.
We had a strong Republican leader who...
Neocon Warhawk, who almost,
who is helping to make bonds with countries that people said, no, you shouldn't be like aligning with those countries. And he had a Congress that was giving him full support and giving him, full access to the checkbook and letting him lay down the law. We had a law and order president then in 2006. We have a law and order president now. So it seems to me the only thing that would change, right, is what happened. Law and order president. What happened?
What happened?
In 2008.
What happened?
That fractured reality.
What happened?
Barack Obama became president, right? And Barack Obama would say it was fractured reality. It fractured my reality.
That was the most real reality has ever been.
No, that was a fracturing of my reality. I said this can't be happening. If George Washington had seen Obama and they said that guy's president, he said my reality is broken.
The guy in the tan suit who he's Dijon mustard on his burger.
That cannot be president. What's he doing? He's bowing to princes.
Putting Nikes on the Oval Office desk.
He's bowing to princes. Let's just go back. All right, so you're trying to talk about how
let's go back
2006. Let's take a trip back to 2006.
All right,
okay?
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert.
Just getting started.
He's just getting started. He fooled me. I would see him on the TV, flipping through the channels, and I would see him, and I'd say, "This guy's got some good points, but I don't understand the laugh track.
Papa Bear.
It's throwing me off." I don't know. Howard Stern was on Channel E, and he was doing some of these tricks. He's spitting filth around. If you remember,
these tricks.
Please listen to the previous episode of Baffle Gab, and you will hear a time when he tricked our current president into talking about sodomy.
And Melania's poops.
Yes, this is the kind of traffic that was going on back then.
The FLOTUS.
What about the South Park children? Will someone please think of the South Park children?
I'm not sure what type of point you're trying to make. Other than that, 2006 was a year with things in it.
Do you remember what was going on back? Girls Gone Wild, infomercials. You couldn't change a channel after 2 in the morning without seeing, these perverts tricking these drunk ladies into taking off their t-shirts, and then they want to sell it to you for $22.95. Do you remember this?
And MySpace introduced the top 8, provoking inter-friendship warfare all across the country.
If you even tried to look up comedy on MySpace, right, immediately what would happen is, you look up some Joe Schmo, and there'd be one of his clips would start playing, and 3 seconds in, it's MF for this, MF for that, and then Melissa comes in, and she goes, "What are you doing?" And I go, "Well, I'm just trying to find some good, clean comedic entertainment, and this is all that's available when you live in a hellscape known as 2006.
You weren't even married yet.
I was not married, no, but we had been dating, we were...
good as married.
We were preschool sweethearts.
Okay, all right. Well, look, I remember 2006 a little differently. The Hives. The White Stripes. Nas made a little comeback.
I don't even know what any of those words mean. I don't know what you're even talking about.
So let me just read a little bit more of this article, okay?
Let's go back to what Team Reality has to say about it.
Yeah, I think we're getting sidetracked here because, you're listening to us talk about Sacha Baron Cohen, his new series. Maybe you liked Borat. Maybe you liked his shenanigans over a decade ago. So all of this may seem like the beginning of a glorious, sublime parade of politicians owning themselves, constantly kicking the ball into their own goals. Ha ha ha. But on the other hand, maybe these politicians who are tricked into appearing on the record as themselves in a way that farther perpetuates and entrenches not only the cultural ideological divide, but also the idea among conservatives that the liberal media, quote unquote, including entertainment like Sacha Baron Cohen's production, maybe they'll think it's a constant and perpetual trap to be distrusted at all costs, farther exacerbating the fake news perception problem. So not only that, but the mileage Team Reality will get, and I am on Team Reality. I've been rooting for Team Reality since they won the World Series in 1976. And look, the mileage...
Boo! Team Fake News!
Team Reality!
Team Fake News! Team Reality is going down.
Team Reality...
You've already lost!
You know, they're not going to get much out of this latest stunt by Baron Cohen. It won't be nearly as potent as the validation Team Fake News will get out of claiming that Who is America represents a new low for liberals and, all the decadent people who watch their entertainment programs.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
And that's because Team Reality was losing its hold over a single dominant reality paradigm long before Sacha Baron Cohen cycled back onto the scene with his tired, worn-out comedic antics. Take a seat, Sacha Baron Cohen. We have the receipts.
No. Team Fake News all the way. I mean, he's even tricking the actual real news. He fooled Ted Koppel.
Oh, don't get me started. He fooled Ted Koppel.
That's right.
That poor, sweet old man had to demand that Sacha Baron Cohen's people leave his house. And I don't think... how can you live in a world where Ted Koppel, where it's okay that he felt unsafe in the name of comedy? Comedy. Is that funny? No, Trevor Noah's funny. Okay? Seth Meyers. That's funny. That's real comedy.
Those clips
Jimmy
of
Kimmel.
celebrities doing carpool karaoke you showed me, that was funny.
Yeah, that was okay.
No, that was hilarious.
Look, the point is, his
Don't be a
old
dick.
bag
You
of...
showed me those in confidence. You said these are funny, and I agreed.
Sacha Baron Cohen, his old bag of comedic tricks, they're just no longer relevant. Satire's dead. You heard it here first, folks. With Trump in office, Team Reality needs all the help it can get. And Sacha Baron Cohen, Team Fake News.
Team Fake News. I agree. Satire is totally dead. And I tell you this, Mr. Cohn has the right name because he's a dunce. And he should be wearing a cone on his head. Not to be confused with the very funny cone heads of the 70s program Live from Saturday Night. But he is a dunce. He is a cone head.
Oh,
what you think? A
cone.
Mr. Cone is the right name for him.
Sacha Baron Cohen, you think it's funny to make fun of certain character archetypes? Doing offensive accents and making fun of people from Appalachia or the South. Oh, and to think...
He has a character that talks like that.
It's so offensive. And
Which it is funny the way he points out Bernie Sanders is bad at math.
Yeah. Really, probably the best skit in that show because, as you know, listeners, I hate Bernie Bros. And to think that, on top of it all, he drags hardworking politicians, authors, and journalists into his shitstorm. That just ain't right.
No, it's not right. And also, I think this would be a good time to tell the audience that we have some very exciting guests coming up within the next few episodes.
We'll have Alexandra Kitty, author of When Journalism Was a Thing, out now from Zero Books. Check for that one first week in August.
And the other thing is that this guy's a Brit. We don't need a Brit coming over here 200 years after we kicked their ass.
That's right.
Sticking his nose in our business. Look,
sir. Sorry. Actually, one other thing. Also in August, listeners should tune in for Alex Wade, author of The Pac-Man Principle, a user guide to late capitalism. He is a professor in the United Kingdom.
Great.
So that'll be a fun interview. Anyway, these fucking limeys need to stop coming over here and telling us Americans how we need to live our lives, okay?
Especially to do it as a joke. They stop giving us your commentary, stop giving us your comedy, stay on your friggin' island.
I've seen
which
The
also
Patriot.
not even part of the EU anymore, so enjoy your little, fenced off island.
I've seen The Patriot. I know how evil they were during the Revolutionary War. They killed that little boy who was the son of Mel Gibson in cold blood.
Pisses me off.
I know. And now that same actor is the captain in the new Star Trek series. Just another thing they're taking from us.
Yeah. Well, we don't need you adding nothing to the conversation by prancing around and doing your lollygags.
Yeah, like Monty Python. I never found that funny.
They can't even end a sketch. All they have to do is go, now here's something different. Anyway, thankfully, some people are standing up to him, like good American gun owner Roy Moore, who is threatened, but hasn't actually taken any action, to sue Showtime.
That's
right. Applaud hero.
No, wait, no,
Roy
I'm
Moore.
not applauding him.
Why?
You mean the pedophile who
Allegedly.
thankfully lost to Doug Jones in Alabama?
Just because you meet your wife when she's 14 doesn't mean you're a pedophile.
At the mall.
What?
I mean, I don't want to get
He saw a nice dance recital.
Yeah, I mean...
And he said, I remember them legs.
Let's ask Bernie Bernstein if he has any new scoops.
Oh,
maybe he knows something about this
another
lawsuit.
callback to a previous episode. Anyway, Sacha Baron Cohen, stop stealing our thunder.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get to some real news stories after this break.
That's right. We will be discussing Bernie Sanders. What is he even doing? Why is he talking? Is he dead yet? I don't know. You'll find out when we return.
You have an incoming call from Rikers Island Correctional Facility. Do you accept?
We do.
Fellas, you gotta help me. You gotta help. I'm in big trouble. They got me here in jail, and I don't know if I can stand it.
Bill, you're still in jail.
Welcome
After
back.
last week's episode.
Bill, I will say that you are on the podcast right now, so please try to not say anything incriminating. So last episode, you were arrested for selling ice without a permit.
Well, giving away ice without a permit.
That's the thing. I wasn't selling any. I was giving it away for free. And then when they took me in, they said they got me on another set of crime. I defaced my own property when I wrote "The Blacks Are Cool" on my Civil War general ancestors statue.
Oh, yeah.
4 counts of masturbating at a public library, which those I will accept a guilty plea for. Showing pornographic videos that involved a firearm to children. Now that was just an educational lesson. Animal abuse, because they said I could not have taught General Lee that the Civil War was not about slavery, but was about state rights. I'm sorry, that's animal abuse now in this liberal state. And then wrongfully calling the police on a Girl Scout cookies. And then also eating a burrito and getting it everywhere on the bus. That also, but I'm going to be in here for like another 2 weeks at least, according to my lawyer, Dr. Barngood. But he doesn't understand. I'm in a dire situation.
I guess
fellas,
so.
Fellas, I have a $300,000 bail. Do you think it can cover? Can I please?
Yeah, let me
Hey,
just...
I can hear you laughing and I need some money.
Let me just get my money replicator here.
I'm sorry, I gotta say, Bill, this sounds like not a sound investment.
No, not at all.
Bail.
I play the Sox, Bill, not the prisons.
But come on now, this is getting ignorant in here. There are MS-13 in here. I can see it.
Well, maybe you'll make some new friends, Bill.
I don't think so. None of them have the tattoos. There's Antifas. There's Antifas all around here. There's Antifas.
Well, maybe you'll learn a thing or two as
Come
well.
on now, Al-Qaeda's. There's Al-Qaeda's. There's Antifas. There's MS-13s. The terrorists are running amok in here. There's all kinds of gangs. There's the coconuts. Those boys are crazy. You can't trust the coconuts.
The cocoa nuts.
The coconuts are one of the worst gangs in here. There's the curly boys. That's just a bunch of bald-headed jackasses who get into all sorts of trouble. Last week they asked him to paint the cafeteria, and they just got paint all over themselves and were falling off ladders, and it was hilarious to look at, but it was just trouble. You gotta give it out.
Is Yakety Sax playing while this was
It
happening?
was, yeah, Yakety Sax, one of the famous sax players. He's still in here since the 1930s. He's been locked up. Then there's the QQ Sally boys. Now, you don't want to mess with them. There's the Nazis, of course. Now, they've actually been very friendly to me.
The Nazis.
They were very
yes.
welcoming. Since day one, they said, hey, Bill, you always got a friend in me. And I said, I'll remember that, boys, but I'm not sure who my to yet. There's the pool department. Now, there's the fellas that look over the pool. Nice guys. They're really nice guys. And then word of all, there's the one percenters. The one percenters.
Now I'm surprised they're in prison.
Well, they're not actually in the prison. See, now that's the rich folks that own the privately owned prison. And sometimes they just walk through with their fancy suits on just to see how everything's going. And they'll just point and laugh at all the minorities they've imprisoned for minor drug offenses. But still, they're not nice guys. They're not. I need help. There's MS-13.
All
I think maybe with all these gang names, I buried the lead. But there are MS-13s.
All right, Bill. Well, we're not lawyers. We don't have a lawyer on retainer, so we cannot help you.
But don't worry, Trump is taken care of. MS-13. All he needs is your vote this midterm, 2018. Vote for Republicans down the line, and then MS-13 will disappear.
Except you won't be able to vote now that you have a felony on your record.
That is true, Bill.
So I guess you're dead to Ralph. No use.
My hands are tied here, Bill. I really don't. I'd love to help you out, but really, if you can't vote Republican, I'm not sure what I can do. All right. Anyway, that was Bill Morgan. Bill, thanks for calling.
Yeah, cut this, please. Okay, Bill, good luck and Godspeed. So anyway, on to our next segment. What is Bernie Sanders even doing? Now, on Monday, I want to give a little bit of background story first. Folks.
Please do, because not all of us obsessively refresh
Twitter?
Bernie Sanders' Twitter page. Yeah.
Well, there is a group of posters on the website twitter.com. We call ourselves the Donut Brigade.
A group of posters?
Yeah, because we have, tweeters.
Okay. These are not campaign posters.
Yes.
Punk rock posters.
No. We put donuts in our Twitter handles because Nia Turner once complained at a DNC function that they didn't even have enough donuts for everybody, and we just thought that was funny. Of course, somebody who wants to give Medicare for all has a problem with donuts not being equally redistributed. Isn't that just funny?
A liberal
Isn't
humor.
That funny?
I don't know.
So on Monday, as our listeners probably know, because we expect that you follow the news. There are some things that we don't always have to talk about because, they happen on Monday, and by the time you get this, a week later, it's not as relevant.
Kind of like the Helsinki summit, which we have not touched on at all.
Exactly
this episode.
what I was referring to, Ralph. Very astute. So, Helsinki, Trump revealed that he is in fact a Putin puppet, an agent of the Kremlin. Although he claimed,
what the hell are you doing?
He claimed later that when he said, I wouldn't believe that the Russians hacked the DNC. I wouldn't believe that. He actually meant to say that he would. See, it's double negative. That was the issue.
He would believe, yes.
Yeah. And before we get into it, let's just play a clip to refresh your memory.
I have full faith and support for America's great intelligence agencies. Always had. And I have felt very strongly that while Russia's actions had no impact at all on the outcome of the election, let me be totally clear in saying that, and I've said this many times, I accept our intelligence community's conclusion that Russia's meddling in the 2016 election took place. Could be other people also. There's a lot of people out there. There was no collusion at all. And people have seen that, and they've seen that strongly. The House has already come out very strongly on that. A lot of people have come out strongly on that. I thought that I made myself very clear by having just reviewed the transcript. Now, I have to say, I came back and I said, what is going on? What's the big deal? So I got a transcript, I reviewed it. I actually went out and reviewed a clip of an answer that I gave. And I realized that there is a need for some clarification. It should have been obvious. I thought it would be obvious, but I would like to clarify just in case it wasn't. In a key sentence in my remarks, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why I wouldn't or why it wouldn't be Russia. So just to repeat it, I said the word would instead of wouldn't. And the sentence should have been, and I thought it would be maybe a little bit unclear on the transcript or unclear on the actual video. The sentence should have been, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be Russia. sort of a double negative.
And let me remind you, listeners, that Trump and his people had 24 hours to come up with that excuse. Jesus Christ.
It's not an excuse. I mean, also, it's a simple mistake. You made the mistake even before the would and wouldn't. You got it confused, even leading into the clip. So
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Let's
Shoulda,
not
woulda,
get
coulda.
all high and mighty here.
What are you talking about? He said I wouldn't believe.
That I would not believe that it would be.
And he meant to say that he would. Yeah. No, I got it. But given Trump's word salad, you can never be quite sure what exactly he's trying to
this
say.
couldn't be any more clear. It could be Russia, but it also could be a lot of other places. It could be, I don't know, Mexico that had 3 million people vote.
What about Seth Rich? What about the person the DNC murdered? Why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, we never talk about that. That has never been. That's been one of the topics that Lenny will not talk about on this show.
It's so obvious.
Do not talk about list.
That Trump, first of all, I just would like to say that this moment, I agree with many of the pundits out there. If you're watching cable news this week, you will have seen the Malcolm Nances of the world and the James Clappers of the world, former CIA director, saying that this was worse than Pearl Harbor. This was worse than 9/11. This was like a million 9/11s all rolled into one. It was the moment where we saw that our commander-in-chief is in thrall to a foreign power. And that is disturbing. And this is his excuse. I misspoke. It was a double negative. Give me a break.
He misspoke. He's nervous. Okay, he's an outsider. He's not a politician. All right, so he's not savvy to these kind of things.
You think we should have somebody who's
with the flow,
so naive and so green?
He's a 70-year-old man. He's a 70-year-old man. His experience is in business, and he's making deals. He is the deal maker, and he's making deals.
He's selling out the American people is what he's doing. But
to get us peace with Russia? Keep selling, Mr.
We
President.
have peace with Russia. I don't know what you're talking about. This isn't the Cold War. We don't have the nukes at arms ready to go, ready to annihilate each other anymore. We do have, obviously, the capacity, but we're not preparing with that scenario in any serious way.
Because we are disarming a lot of the crazies. We got rid of the dangerous Iran deal. Which you don't like, despite the fact that you love the North Korea deal. Yes, exactly.
Peace in our time.
Yes, and now we're getting Kim Jong-un to get rid of his nukes.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? What a beautiful time to be
They're already, breaking the pact. But whatever. That's fine. That's for another show.
You think Trump's not afraid to have another summit and go over there and meet in South Korea?
He's going to set Mr. Un straight, let me tell you. He's going to be like, hey, buddy.
You're grounded.
All right, well, after his display, I can see why so many in the intelligence community are wondering, is Trump a Putin puppet?
No, he's not.
Is he, though?
No.
Is he in the pocket of the KGB?
No.
Is Donald Trump a secret communist?
I
think so.
Trump was in the pocket of the KGB, why would he sit down immediately after the Helsinki summit and have a hat on that said USA?
It's all about appearances, Ralph. It's all about appearances.
Well, that's all I need to see.
And look, this moment, it was the crescendo of a presidency that has so tarnished the image of America, has so tarnished our legacy and our standing in the world. And I think that it really is Trump's Katrina moment. I don't think he's coming back from this.
Yes, he is.
No.
Yes, he is.
It's over, baby.
No,
it's over.
Yes, he is.
And that's why I was so distraught to see U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders on Monday as this shitstorm was swirling into our vicinity. Instead of talking about Donald Trump, the Putin puppet, the Manchurian candidate sent to destroy the Western imperial hegemony, instead, Bernie Sanders had a town hall called the CEOs versus Workers Town Hall, where he spent the entire day chastising Jeff Bezos and taunting him because he invited Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon.com and CEO of Disney, and some other powerful men.
He invited them
to attend a town hall with their workers to talk about labor conditions and to have
they talk to their workers every day.
To distract from the Putin story, I think, on a day like that is just, it makes you wonder.
What do
they have on Bernie? What do they have on Bernie?
Why do they have to go to a town hall set up by Bernie Sanders where he's obviously going to try and spit on them or something to talk to their workers? It's like when Amazon introduced, they have they were going to have those little hand bands to show that their hands are moving when they're moving products around the Amazon warehouse to make sure that they're working. Those decisions come from Jeff Bezos. That kind of action is him talking to his workers. So there is a communication there.
Well, I think that...
I'm sure in the Amazon warehouse there's a complaint box. If it's like you have something you'd like to say to Jeff Bezos, put it in the complaint box.
I'm sure Jeff Bezos is checking that thing every day, for sure. He's a busy man. But let's listen to a clip to get us started.
My name is Adriana Alvarez. I am a McDonald's worker from Cicero, Illinois.
I'm Seth King, and I used to work at an Amazon fulfillment center in Richmond, Virginia.
Why is it that tens of millions of Americans in the wealthiest nation in the history of the world are forced to struggle to put food on the table?
Hi, my name is Heather Hudson. I work for Piedmont Airlines.
My name is Cynthia Murray, and I work for Walmart.
Hi, this is Senator Bernie Sanders welcoming you to join us on Monday night, 7 p.m. for a really interesting town meeting that we will be live streaming on our Facebook page. We're going to be talking to workers at some of the largest, most profitable corporations in America.
My name is Artemis Bell. I am an SEIU USWW member at the Disneyland Resort.
Workers who are struggling to keep themselves alive economically, while at the same time, the CEOs of these corporations earn huge compensation packages. This is a part of the economy that gets very, very little discussion, and we are going to discuss it.
We will be discussing our fight for a living wage.
Please tune in and watch us as we fight for 15 and a union.
We are fighting for living wages and a fair contract. Please tune in.
We are fighting for a living wage. Please come join us.
Please join us Monday night, 7 p.m. on our Facebook page.
Please tune in.
Enough is enough.
I invited Jeff Bezos to come out, but he didn't come out. I don't know why he didn't come out. He's ashamed to meet with his own burgers.
Now, I gotta say... All right, Bernie impressions aside.
That's what he sounds like, Lenny. I don't even understand. It sounds like a nice clip. It's a nice clip. These people got to work to put food on the table. Well, welcome to America. Everyone has to work to put food on the table.
Well, look, while I agree with Bernie that inequality is a problem and workers need more power... inequality can be addressed after we take back our country from the foreign adversary that currently sits in the White House. Okay, and that's what
the hell are you talking about?
That just seems me off. No worries, people. As long as Bernie Sanders keeps wagging his finger at Jeff Bezos, everything will be fine in the new white supremacist autocracy. Oh no! You see, that's what I think Bernie Sanders doesn't understand. What? He's been planning this town hall for months, and it just happens to fall on the very same day that Trump, eats ass like this in front of the entire world. It just doesn't really add up. And then you have some news this week about Tad Devine showing up in the Robert Mueller exhibits against Paul Manafort. They were emailing back and forth. Who knows what's going on there? Is Bernie Sanders a Russian agent too? It seems like a bit of a coincidence.
Impeach Bernie. I've been saying it since the get-go.
Bernie Sanders, if you're listening to this podcast...
Stop. Turn it off now.
I have something to tell you, okay? You should be more concerned with impeaching Donald Trump instead of creating disdain for Jeff Bezos, an entrepreneur who has created a culture of innovation and excellence that unfortunately is not a good fit for some of his employees. I voted for Hillary. I might have voted for you if you won the primary, but of course you didn't. You still lost. But either way, you can do better. Okay? And who cares what Jeff Bezos is doing? Don't you have some Russian treason to worry about? Huh? What was your asset number, Bernie Sanders? How did the Kremlin contact you and Jill Stein?
Look, you need to settle down, Lenny. All right? I actually think that this is great because the liberals could take a cue out of Bernie's book of drop the whole Russia thing. Drop the whole impeachment thing. Get back to just saying,
no.
How dare these CEOs
America
make money?
was attacked. Our democracy was hacked.
How dare these CEOs make money? That should be where the liberals are doing. Let the Republicans make the money and all this stuff. And I will say, some stuff I disagree with Jeff Bezos on. I think that he has overstepped his free speech bounds with Washington Post. Democracy dies in darkness. Well, fine. Turn on the lights, fellas. Turn on the lights. I don't understand. Jeff Bezos, $100 billion. Pay the light bill down for the Washington Post.
Hold on, folks. There is a call coming into the studio.
from Rikers Island Correctional Facility. Do you accept?
Yes, again.
Buenos tardes, amigos. Su Bill Morgan aquí. Mi frados MS Tracy. Voy a interpretar soy Nintendo de asesinato el del Führer Trump.
What about Super Nintendo?
Fellas, I have infiltrated MS-13.
Oh.
I am on a secret double S duty to help disrupt some of their evil plans that they're doing to overtake America.
All right.
And it all takes place this evening as I will place some SPP into cerveza.
Bill, what the hell is going on over there?
Fellas, I am doing some top secret work, okay? I am doing some top secret work of infiltrating MS-13. They're in here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear things up from the inside. Now I have already been on laundry duty, and I was in there, and have gained their trust while we were folding up the sheets. And,
really?
And now I have a big plan. Now we're meeting tonight to drink some toilet wine. And I swear I'm going to bring in some real toilet wine, if you know what I'm saying. Wink, 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 wink.
I don't.
Bill, I want you to be careful over there. MS-13 is incredibly, incredibly dangerous.
According to Fox
They're a
News.
vile, disgusting people. They will just take a machete and just hack your face off and just not stop hacking. And then they'll take that blade and they'll shove it up your anus. And they will turn it around, and then they will pull it out until your guts fall from your anus hole. This is all according to a story that Steve Doocy said on Fox and Friends in the Morning.
A deuce that Steve Doocy dropped.
I was having a coffee and eggs, and I spit it out when I said, that is insane. That's incredibly vicious.
How could Doocy leave that deuce in my mouth?
And I said, you know what, MS-13, they wouldn't grow up like this if we had just caught them when they crossed the border and separated them from their parents and scared them shitless when they were 4.
Oh, God.
This would not be happening. This is the problem with MS-13.
Well, I hope you have fun with your new friends, but...
I'm not going to be
shouldn't
about it.
Shouldn't you call your mom or, like, your lawyer?
My mama won't answer the phone anymore. She's got General Lee, and she says that I've done bad things and I need to pay for it. And Dr. Borngood won't listen anymore. He says you got to do 2 weeks. That's all I can do. And so I'm stuck in here. And I'm scared, fellas. I'm very scared. It's hard to be undercover. I don't know if you know what it's like to be a person like me who's undercover trying to talk people and to trick them into saying things that are wrong. You know, I don't know what...
I'm not Sacha Baron Cohen. I'm not a satirist, so no, I do not know.
Neither am I, Lily. I don't even know what a satirist is. And, I mean, I've been a Sundayist. When I would go to church, I was a Sundayist. But I've never been a satirist. And I'm getting scared, fellas. I'm getting scared.
Bill, just try to remain calm, remain strong in there, and punch the strongest guy in the face and get some respect for yourself.
If TV has taught me anything, it's that you need to make a good impression. But it seems like you've already neglected to do that. So if you call us again, I hope that you will be in good health and in one piece.
I hope so, too. Anyway, Buenos Aires, amigos.
Okay.
All right, Bill.
Buenos Aires. Goodbye. Wow.
I think he's going to be all right.
All right,
I think
so,
he's going to be tough.
Yeah, Bill Morgan, he's a tough character. He's been living on the streets for years. I think he can handle a little time in the clink. But to get back to it, you know, this got me thinking, like this whole Bernie bluster got me thinking about Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who we discussed in the last episode.
Yes, we did.
And I said that I supported her then because she was a Latina woman representing a district that was very heavily Latino. She was a woman, too. And those things were both better than Joe Crowley's background, which is a pasty old white guy who is as establishment dinosaur as they come.
All right, we don't choose to be pasty and white. It just happens naturally, all right? I don't think it's fair to pick on someone because their white skin is flaky and eczema-ridden and gross.
Yeah, well...
You don't choose your liver spots, they choose your face.
Well, let me just say, Joe Lieberman, he came out of retirement, came out of silence to write a powerful op-ed about Ocasio-Cortez for the New Yorker. It was directed at New Yorkers. But
Which is a little different than writing for the New Yorker.
I can't remember which
Anyone can write
publication
a
it was in.
Medium post that says, Dear New Yorkers.
But Joe Lieberman made some good points, and that's basically socialism doesn't work. We've seen Venezuela.
Lenny, I don't think we've ever agreed more on this show. So let me get this right. So last week, you were saying Medicare for all. You were for all these crazy things. That this uneducated, this 28-year-old woman,
universal health care.
she's just unexperienced.
We have universal health care, but it's got to be in a market-based system. And by the way, it's the Wall Street Journal that Joe Lieberman wrote this for.
Which is more
another New York related.
But it is more trustworthy than the New Yorker.
I wouldn't say that.
But I would, and I just did.
And, Joe Lieberman made a good point because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, while she did beat her pasty white opponent, Joe Crowley, in the Democratic primary in New York, the Working Families Party, a minor party, a kind of a Democratic Party cheerleader in some cases, actually endorsed her opponent, Joe Crowley, before Ocasio-Cortez had that upset victory. So now, due to the intricacies of New York election law, Joe Crowley is on the ballot for Working Families Party alongside Ocasio-Cortez in the general election. Because the only way he could remove it and let Ocasio-Cortez appear on the Working Families Party line is to move his official residence to Virginia. Because, of course, being a congressman, he has a residence in Virginia.
Liberals are trying to kick him out of the state?
Yeah.
They're trying to say you can't live here anymore. You got to go live in Virginia.
But Joe Lieberman, he makes a good point. Look, Medicare for all sounds great. Who's going to pay for it?
Exactly.
Doesn't
add up, folks. Doesn't add up.
And as I said last week, folks, I don't want to pay for rich people's health care. Okay? That's why I don't like this free college thing. I don't want to pay for Donald Trump's children to go to college. Hillary Clinton said that. And another thing, all this class politics, Hillary Clinton also got it right when she said, breaking up the big banks will not solve racism. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. I feel like the way to progress is more incrementalism. Let's just nudge our way to progress. And then maybe 100 years from now, we'll have moved forward like a whole 4 inches. And that'll be a far better place to be than where we are right now.
Lenny, I feel like I'm going crazy because you just got me to agree with Hillary Clinton.
You don't want to take a few nudges forward. You want to take a few nudges back. You want to take a few big steps back. That's what you want to do, Ralph. And that's the difference between you and me. I believe in practical, progressive policies. The 3 Ps. What do you believe in?
Well, two of the P's are the PP tape.
Tax cuts and American military muscle. That's pretty much it. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah. So Bernie Sanders, I just got to say, I wish you would have picked a different day to host this town hall because it distracted from the narrative of Donald Trump being a Russian agent at a time where it was really something we needed to discuss as a nation. We needed to hash this out. But no, Bernie Sanders wants to talk about some Disney workers and some Amazon workers who have to pee in bottles and live in tent shanty towns outside Amazon warehouses, while Jeff Bezos earns $230,000 a minute and just became the richest person in the world this week.
Wow. To think of the time we live in an age
but that's all
where
meaningless. It's meaningless.
Where workers for a company are getting shelter.
Yeah.
They're living in their own shanty town. They're getting their own Amazon towns.
Yeah. And, I just think that it's sad that we couldn't have this unencumbered discussion as a nation. Because Amazon, they do some things I don't agree with. I wish they treated their workers better. But we got to talk about Russia. I mean, you watch cable news, we don't talk enough about Russia. Every night, it's like, what's going on in the economy? I don't give a shit what's going on in the economy.
Whoa, Lenny, hold on. My wife
taxes.
Like,
they'll talk about taxes.
Lenny, my wife listens to this podcast. If you could please curb the language.
The integrity of our country and our democracy is at stake. Ralph?
Okay, well, you mentioned taxes, which I immediately stopped listening to what you were talking about and started thinking about what I wanted to think about, which is money.
Very typical of you.
So I was reading Forbes magazine, which is my feel-good novel of the summer. Everyone has like a feel-good book that they read.
Yeah.
Like really boost them, put a little pep in their step. Forbes magazine is mine. And I saw a fantastic article. And so I want to call out Hero of the Week.
Oh, we've already done Bafflegap Heroes.
Yeah.
No more room.
We're adding another one.
Heroes.
We have to make room for Panis Mordegolko. Kutukas.
What's his name?
Panos Mordu.
Panos Mord. Okay, I'm not gonna try either.
Beautiful older Greek man.
Yeah.
Anyway, he has an article. Amazon should replace local libraries to save taxpayers' money. You don't even need Lenny. I would
save taxpayers' money.
Yes.
You know, Amazon's a bookseller, right? And the library gives away books for free.
Who's paying for those books, Lenny?
Our taxes.
Yes. Why do I have to pay for 5 copies?
Do you not understand the scale?
For 5 copies of Michael Moore's new book, so some poli-sci major can go get it for free.
Yeah. What's a better model? Having a marginal part of your taxes go into paying for a system of libraries that offer thousands of books free for anyone to take out for maybe $70 a year in your own personal tax.
$70?
Maybe.
Maybe. How many books are at a library?
Yeah, well,
$70
built up
a year.
over
You're
time.
living in a fantasy world.
You'd be surprised how taxes can build up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like if everybody pays just a little bit, you get to pay for something much bigger that benefits everyone.
It doesn't add up, Lenny.
I agree that this cockamamie idea of turning Amazon
This
into
isn't
public
cockamamie.
libraries.
The audience doesn't even know the story, all right? They don't even know the story yet. Other thing, libraries are hubs for criminal activity. Like loitering.
Bill Morgan.
Like masturbation with our own Bill Morgan. As we've seen, he is now serving time for crimes that he committed at a public library.
That's right.
That they gave him a safe space to commit these crimes. And I say, no more. No more of this. Because what if, instead of libraries, we tore them all down and we built brand new Amazon bookshops in the place of where every library is today? Right? Because libraries don't even offer books now. They offer DVDs for a while and compact discs for a while, and then they offered a free, wireless fidelity internet. And they offered, they were a hub for all these things. And Starbucks came along and they were like, "Why don't you just do that here?" And it was great. Starbucks is a great company. You got Starbucks, across the street from Starbucks. That's the old hack joke about them. And now we don't need libraries anymore. They're just places for non-voters like Bill Morgan, these disgusting types that just go there and waste my money so that they can masturbate to ebony breasts or whatever it was that he is.
We know his fetishes, but what are we gonna call it then? Prime berries, Bezoberries, Amazon Book Emporium. I don't know.
The Primeberry, I think, is a good enough name.
The Primeberry.
I think it's like I got to drop my kids off the Primeberry. He's studying for school. He's got to do a report.
Yeah. Well, I just have to say, in the long list of dumb things conservatives would like to privatize, this has to be about the dumbest. Libraries. Even fucking the arch conservatives, the neoconservatives who led us into the Iraq War and the Reagan administration. I mean, none of those people would be down with this.
Let's not put those all in the same
idea.
basket. Well, here's 2 reasons why you would be in favor of this stupid idea. 1, saves you money, saves taxpayer money.
How would you like? Money?
You said yourself it costs $70 a year.
But are the people
how would you like $70? How would you like $70 back?
Taxes are not paid out in dividends, Ralph. It sounds like if they don't use it, you get a little check back. And I'm sorry, how does this even work? Amazon is a for-profit business model. Libraries are not a for-profit business model. They're a non-profit business model.
Yeah, so they waste money.
I mean, unless this is something done out of Jeff Bezos' is personal wealth, his personal fortune, out of the kindness of his heart. I fail to see how it would be any better than a library.
Well, there you have it, folks. One more progressive idea that the so-called progressives, do not want to do. It's a step forward.
Apparently,
you hate
myself
technology.
A pragmatic liberal.
Yeah, you hate this new rise of technology, and you rather have us all just reading old books that are falling apart. Get a 60-year-old copy of Catcher in the Rye, I guess, or something. But here's the other thing. It's going to save taxpayers money, and it's going to enhance the stockholder value of Amazon. I think that I buried the lead here.
Great.
That is the main thing here, is that why isn't Amazon, which is selling books, losing to the government that's giving books out for free? That's not fair.
Won't somebody think of the shareholders?
Well, that someone is here. His name's Ralph Wigglesworth, and the whole thing is let's tear down the
Ralph, did
libraries.
you ever go to a
Burn
library?
the libraries and rebuild at Amazon Books. Burn the libraries to the ground. Build at Amazon Books.
All right, Alexander the Great. Did you ever go to a library when you were a boy, Ralph Wigglesworth? Or did your parents insist on only buying books for you, whether you're going to finish them or not?
I was good. My parents never punished me by sending me to a library.
Well, I just have to say, many people like me, they got their start. They kindled their passions at a library. I remember when I picked up Al Gore's first book in the library, I'm Al Gore and You Can Too. And it was, really inspiring. Here is this guy talking to me about triangulation and stating NAFTA and repealing Glass-Steagall, just all these things that would go on to formulate my very solid political ideology today, which is that, as I said, as a practical realist, okay? And you're going to be taking that away from all the young people who can't afford to buy Al Gore's newest book. Or Hillary Clinton's newest book, for that matter.
Lenny, I see your point. Your word choice is a little off because you said Kindle. Who produces the Kindle? Amazon. But I remember...
I didn't say Kindle.
But you did say Kindle. Listeners, please rewind. He said Kindle. But I will say that I see your point. I remember when I was a young, impressionable 8-year-old, and I was left waiting for my parents to pick me up outside of a library, and they were not there, and I walked into that filthy place. Even they told me to stay out because it's a bastion of free thought, and free thought means sex and violence, perpetrated by the liberals. And I came across a book by Rush Limbaugh called The Way Things Ought to Be. And for me as an 8-year-old to read this and to read about the feminazis and how our guns are going to be taken away, it was a wake-up call.
See, that's funny because I remember another book that really shaped my political outlook is Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot by Al Franken.
That book was disgusting. That book? I do remember. It was gross and disgusting.
The prequel to Lies and the Lying Liars Who Tell Them, a classic in liberal literature.
Yeah.
That should be a course in college, by the way. Lib-lit. Come on,
No, that
people.
should not be a course.
Come on.
I remember also I saw one of those books, the Al Franken, Rush Limbaugh I'm not even going to say the words, books, and I ripped off the cover.
Oh, wow.
And I left it there because that's what you can do in a library.
You showed
You can
them.
just cause destruction because the taxpayers have bought this thing, and so you just tear it up.
And because they have the stupid Dewey Decimal System, what are they going to do without the cover?
It doesn't make any sense. There's lost. The book is lost.
Helpless.
It's off the system. It's off the books.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term. The book's off the books.
Yeah.
So you can just tear it up. Now, at an Amazon bookstore, if you tear it up, you're kicked out. You're banned from Amazon for life.
Yeah.
The library won't ban you for life because, they have to... they're a liberal bastion, so they can't ban people for life and all this kind of stuff. It's all this free thought, hippy-dippy. It's time to put the capitalism back in the library, and Amazon Books is going to do that.
Wow. Well, let's hope, for everyone's sake, that this does not come to pass. And I can't believe again... Okay, we have another call from, I would have to assume, Bill Morgan, because... We have not opened the phone lines to the listeners yet. We will do that at some point in the future. We would love to hear your thoughts on the news of the day.
I would not like to hear that.
But instead...
If you want to get your thoughts, just make tweets that no one will read.
Yeah, okay. What? Just accept it, Greg. No, we don't need to... No,
Greg, we know it's Bill. Just accept it.
Yeah, okay. Bill, are you there? Bill?
Huevos rancheros, my amigas! The plan is going perfectly.
You're using the female form there.
No.
It should be amigos,
now,
right?
We're all amigos here. Now, we're all males. And here, I'm having a great time. They had their own cerveza. This toilet wine is the best. Now, I've been partying with these boys, and they are just a fun group.
MS-13. Partying with them, Bill.
MC Trace over here. Yeah, they are a great fun group. So, now, two of these boys, they are from El Salvador. Now, that is Spanish for the Savior. These are just some good old Christian boys who like to get fucked up, and I can tell you how we all like to get fucked up. Like to drink some beers. We like petting dogs, like training our dogs. We like driving trucks. We like shooting guns. Now, there ain't no reason to be afraid of these boys.
Wow.
Bill, you sound like you're doing fine there. It's good to hear that you are taken to jail life.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you found some new friends, which, if I recall, that's what I recommended that you do earlier in this episode, Bill.
Well, Winnie, you are a fool. Now, you see, here's the thing. I came here to actually infiltrate. I said, now, what do y'all think of El Presidente Trump? And now they actually opened up my mind to a couple things. Now, some of these boys are from Honduras. Now, they were telling me about the cartels running them up down there, and I said, I know about it. I know them dirty cartels now they're trying to sneak up here. And he said, no, Bill, now the cartels are running it because of the war on drugs and an unfair economic system, that has led by the control of the West, has really put unfair pressure that has put a lot of nice innocent folks into a tough situation. And now this is what leads to a lot of the migration crisis that is going from Honduras and El Salvador into America. Now, you see, a lot of this goes back to the war on drugs. Now, the war on drugs has increased a lot of the cartel violence that goes on in South Central America. And now, I was surprised to learn this. And now these fellas, now they're just not even here trying to do violence. A lot of these have become ex-MS-13 members. And now the MS-13 is something really to worry about, that their finances are so low, and then it's very hard, and they use this brutality just to try to make waves to scare simple folks like us, but that actually they are no real threat to a folk like me. They're a bigger threat to people that actually live in countries like Honduras and El Salvador, and now that is why people are trying to flee, and that if we had a more open migration policy, we could actually help with this crisis, and if we actually went back and tried to fix some of the problems with war on drugs and some of these unfair economic situations, that would do a much better service to the migration crisis than it's currently been done. But,
what?
I'm sorry.
Bill, I gotta say, that was, wow, that was surprising.
I puked on myself a little bit because I'm so drunk. These boys, it's hard to keep up with how they drink.
Bill, I hope that this newfound wokeness persists after your hangover.
Yeah, no, you might want to just have some water, some sober up, have some toilet water. Just relax there, Bill.
These boys know how to party, and it is hard at a party. Right, guys? Woo! I'm sorry, I gotta go. Now, I'm having a good time. Tell Dr. Borngood 2 weeks is fine with me.
Wow, well, I guess that closes up all the loose ends.
All right,
the saga of Bill Morgan.
Have fun out there, Bill.
He didn't respond.
He's already off.
All right, well.
God, it's gonna be a mess.
All right, Bill, well, I'm sure your new friends will take care of you.
Have fun out there, Bill, and, just remember, you can't vote anymore.
Click. Goodbye. All right, well, folks, we have passed the 1 hour mark, and
we've called out some fools who are stealing some of our ideas.
That's
We've
right.
thrown out some more good ideas.
That's right.
And I think that just about does it on this episode.
That's right.
Oh,
Bill Morgan, his newfound wokeness, we hope it persists to the next episode, because I would really like to interrogate these new feelings Bill has about the system that holds so many of us down. I feel like we might have some commonalities now that we didn't in the past.
I didn't understand a damn thing he said.
Well, that's true.
After El Salvador, he was all Spanish to me.
That's right. And Bernie Sanders, if you're listening, pay attention to Trump, okay? Leave Jeff Bezos alone. Leave him alone. The billionaire does not need any more flack from people like you who want to distract from the real story, the Russian election interference story. And I hope that next week we will have more to share with you on that developing saga.
Yeah, people ask Jeff Bezos, how do you sleep at night? I'm sure his answer would be, it's hard with all these nagging phone calls from Bernie Sanders all the time.
Yeah, but you know what probably makes
What about your employees? What about your workers? What about your workers?
You know what probably helps Jeff Bezos sleep at night is A, all that money, and B, the fact that he has legions of automated managers supervising his employees' every move, including bathroom breaks and how long it takes them to move boxes from one pallet to another or walk across the warehouse. Now, that's the type of peace of mind that only a billionaire could buy.
All hail automation. It is with those efficiencies that will drive us into the future.
Fully automated luxury communism. It's coming.
We're all going to live in the age of the Jetsons, where if you're lucky, you'll be a nice white family that lives on top of whatever is going on down on Earth.
Well, Chairman Ocasio-Cortez will put bootlickers like Ralph first up against the wall. That's all I'm going to say.
Huh?
What? Nothing. Anyway, you're listening to Baffle Gab. We'll be back in a week with Alexandra Kitty, who will be discussing her new book, When Journalism Was a Thing. It's a thing now because this is journalism. Real, hard-hitting journalism.
And commentary.
That's right, and definitely not comedy. Satire is dead. Sacha Baron Cohen, check your privilege.
Out of time. Bye-bye.